Hello art friends, it's Carolyn here. We are doing part 2 of how to make a book out of one sheet of paper. And this time we're using a full sheet of watercolor paper. And this allows us to add some additional folds and get a 16-page book. But it's just as easy, just a few more folds. I'm going to start with that hot dog fold, which is the skinnier of the two. And this time I'm going to fold each of the sides back over. This is the extra step compared to what we did in part 1. I'm being very careful to try to line up my edges. And using my bone folder to get a nice crease. Now it's time to do that hamburger fold. Lining up my edges. Getting a nice crease. And folding back each of those sides. Again, I'm taking a lot of time just to make sure my edges all line up. So here's where it's also a little different. We're going to do 3 cuts. And here's a little diagram just to help you of where those cuts are going to be. 2 cuts are on the same side and go up 3/4 of the page. Now don't worry about measuring this. When you did your folds, you essentially created 4 by 4 grids. You just need to cut up 3 of the squares out of the 4. So we're going to flip it over, making that 3rd cut, still just going up 3 out of the 4 blocks. And once our cuts are all done, we will fold this accordion style. And the way to think about this is you want the painted sides to be touching each other and the unpainted sides to be touching each other. So you might have to reverse some of the creases and just keep folding like you would an accordion until all of your pages are created. Take your bone folder and help out those folds to be really crisp. And here is your 16-page artist book. And just like the last book we made, we're going to take some double-sided tape this time and tape our pages together. So again, unpainted side to unpainted side. We're gluing the unpainted side so that our book is only the painted pages. You can also use glue. You can also use stitching like I sewed the last book. Really, you can experiment with different adhesives, just trying to keep our book held together. And once you do this, it's a lot easier, I think, than watching. All right, so you've got the hang of this now. So I'm also going to show you how to do this book to create a landscape orientation. Doing our hot dog folds, flipping them over, our hamburger fold and flipping those over. I did speed this up just since I think you've got this part. But now we're going to cut our page in the opposite direction. This gives us our landscape. So this is going across the long way in your sheet of paper. And if your paper was perfectly square, it wouldn't matter which way you did it. Accordion folding to get our book. We are going to use our double-sided adhesive tape. The last step is to create a cover for our book. I measure my book and cut out 2 pieces of cardboard that fit the book. I cut them slightly larger than the book. I'm going to cover these pieces of cardboard with some gel print paintings that I did, just using some glue. I trim around the piece of paper and I will snip off the corners, which allows you to fold over and glue the sides. You can use other things for your cover. You can use probably a heavyweight, maybe 300-pound watercolor paper. You can use, heavier corrugated cardboard. Really experiment. You can use a lot of things. So after gluing down all of my sides that wrapped around, I'm going to take this piece and use it as a template to cut out my back cover. Anything to save me some time. Repeat the same process as before. Glue down my gel print. Snip those corners. And we have our front and back cover. Now to connect the covers to the book, we're going to use a spine, which in this case is a sheet of canvas paper. Just from a pad of canvas paper that I have, I'm going to glue that canvas down on the outside of the book, and be careful not to make it too tight. You want to be able to open up your pages of your book. So you want it a little bit loose. After that's been glued, I'm going to glue the front and back covers. And now you've made your own artist book. I love making these myself because you can also choose the quality of paper for the inside of your book. I use these often to do more mixed media on the inside of them, and they make fabulous gifts. You can put, photographs in it, drawings, or just leave them as is. Stack up some books just to weight this down overnight while it dries. Enjoy your new artist book. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment, give us a thumbs up, and share.